Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of our Wisconsin.com Prep Rally. Alongside Dennis Summerall, I'm Rob Hernandez. We are at DeForest High School, high atop DeForest High School, Dennis, in the new press box. You know,
very high atop. Yes.
Remember back to week one, I was gushing over new bathrooms at Verona. This is like having a whole new stadium. I mean, this is pretty impressive.
Well, we joke about the Arrowhead at University of Arrowhead at Merton.
Yes.
Well, I don't know about DeForest. Isn't too far behind here. No elevator though.
No elevator, but boy, a great view here from behind us, and it'll be a great view on Friday night for our WisconsinPrepZone.com Game of the Week, a Level 2 showdown. Waunakee at DeForest, and Dennis, I wear the purple because it's the rematch. It's the one that we wanted. It's the one that was such a good game the first time around. Now it's for all the marbles in terms of win and go on or lose and go home. How do you see this one breaking down?
I'm in my neutral black for both teams since I covered the first one. 24-14 Waunakee. DeForest out to a 14-0 lead. Once again, Waunakee with a field goal at the end of the first half, and as Pat Rice likes to do, defer so you get the ball in the second half. They came right out and scored, and that was also the recipe for how they beat Wilmot. A 7-0 deficit at halftime last Friday, and they came back to be able to pull that one out. 45 wins in a row. The last time DeForest beat Waunakee, 2007, here, third level 3 of the playoffs. And in that game, Waunakee had a 13-0 lead. DeForest ended up winning 27-13. We'll see what happens Friday night.
Well, I was going to ask, I mean, this big streak, as Waunakee tries to eclipse Manitowoc's 48-game winning streak, they're at 45 and counting. How does that factor in at this stage? It seems to me like DeForest has nothing to lose, everything to gain, and Waunakee almost the other way around.
Well, yeah, I believe that's it. And again, DeForest has waited to have a home game here for a few years. They were supposed to have a home game originally, and because the season was changed from 9 to 8 games, they redrew, and Waunakee drew the home game 2 years in a row. So the DeForest players, the seniors in particular, Mike Minnick, the coach, his son Brett, in that class, wanted one more game here, and they got it.
They got it. Now, Dennis, let's talk to our viewers about what made that first matchup so special. What did DeForest do so well to get that lead? And what changes about this matchup in terms of personnel, in terms of the way these teams are playing right now?
Well, they didn't have Omar Reed, their running back, who was hurt in the first game, and then they got some help off the bench. So the running game was the one key. They didn't have that against Waunakee. They had a short passing game with Brett Minnick. He had a lot of catches in the first half. They shut him down, and they put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, Waunakee's defense. They also got some great special teams play out of Ryan Cruiser. And defense and special teams is where Waunakee has normally had the edge. We'll see if that happens Friday night.
All right, Friday night, our WisconsinPrepZone.com Game of the Week right here, 7 o'clock from DeForest. It's DeForest and Waunakee. You can catch all the highlights and post-game reaction afterwards on WisconsinPrepZone.com. Dennis, let's shift our attention to Division I, where we have a Big 8 matchup that could have been a rematch if we had played a 9-game schedule. Sun Prairie playing host to Madison West. The Cardinals 9-0. Madison West 7-2 now with the win in Level 1. They didn't play in the regular season. They're going to meet in the postseason. How does that factor into preparation and what to expect? It's a little bit different not having played them.
It is, and defense has been the key for Sun Prairie. But if you look at the first playoff game against McWanago, Madison West came up with 6 turnovers, 4 recovered fumbles, and 2 interceptions. So the defenses are definitely going to have a play in this one. Sun Prairie, though, took care of Memorial just like they did the first time, gave up a couple late touchdowns. They broke their streak. We figured they'd give up a touchdown or 2 in the playoffs, but they kept their winning streak alive now at 9 in a row.
And winning is what's important this time of year. It was 45-20, Sun Prairie over Madison Memorial. And as Dennis said, it was Madison West 22-7 over McWanago. Dennis, the other game in Division I in our area, Sussex Hamilton, after a very, very impressive 44-9 win over Middleton. They'll go to Verona on Friday night, take on the Wildcats. Verona knocked off Oconomowoc 23-13 last week. By all indications, Hamilton at a 3 seed is kind of a team under the radar, perhaps. Certainly won't be under the radar Friday night.
No, they won't be. And for people who are looking for a Middleton-Verona rematch, sorry, it didn't happen. Hamilton made sure that. Verona's been on a winning streak ever since they lost the first game of the year at Sun Prairie, and they want a rematch with Sun Prairie the next week. They won't be looking past Sussex, though, but they want that rematch.
Be a big game Friday night, Division I. Verona playing host to Sussex Hamilton. Division III, Dennis, an interesting ball game. Monona Grove hitting the road to play Reedsburg. You saw Reedsburg in their dramatics last week knock off Madison Edgewood to not only advance in the playoffs, but because they were playing at Edgewood and as the higher seed, they get a home game this week, and Monona Grove's got to make the trek to Millennium Stadium.
Yeah, Reedsburg had a tough time. They had to play Waunakee, Mount Horeb, Barneveld, and DeForest 3 weeks in a row. They only scored 7 points. They didn't score a touchdown. They didn't score at all last week until the third quarter. And then their dramatic 19-play, 93-yard drive took up just 2:20 on the clock. Then they had 17 passes. And as Al Minert went after the game, I don't think they've attempted that many all year. And they had to, though, and they had a quarterback, Austin Shavink, sophomore quarterback. It was his fourth game of getting some playing time, his first career start, and he'll have a very tough test against Monona Grove.
Definitely a big defense there for MG. MG wins 57-7 over Wisconsin Dells last week, and again, Reedsburg a 13-10 winner over Edgewood. Last game we want to get to in Division 3, McFarland, Mount Horeb, Barneveld. Mount Horeb, Barneveld knocks off Monroe last week to advance, but McFarland, kind of a Jekyll and Hyde team. After losing in Week 8 to Edgerton, they bounce back and avenge a regular season loss to Evansville-Albany, 34-7. They get the home game, and they get an old Capital Conference rival in Mount Horeb.
Right, and after they left Capital, they were scheduled as a non-conference game for a number of years. This one you can flip a coin on. I think Mount Horeb-Barneveld definitely had a great season, but when you got to play a rival, all that goes out the window.
Yeah, it sure does. Quickly in Division 4, Capital Conference team hitting the road after another upset forced a team to hit the road. Marshall, after a 34-33 win at home over Winneconne, will travel to Freedom to play the Irish in a Level 2 game Friday night at 7. Freedom Dennis knocked off Chilton in an 8th seed beating a 1 seed 20-6, but we saw a lot of that in Level 1, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Take a look at what the seeding was, and the coaches are going to go look back and go, did we make some mistakes? It's high school football. I don't. You can say this team is supposed to be that team on any given day. It is true. And anybody can win.
I think what we're seeing, and especially in the case of this Freedom versus Chilton game, Chilton 7-1, Freedom 6-2, and a conference champ versus a team that wasn't a conference champ. Hard to give those teams that play in good conferences but don't have the resume at a table that higher seed. Maybe we'll see some of that next year after what happened this year.
Yeah, hopefully.
We should also mention that last year's state runner-up in Division 5, Lancaster, they're home Friday night at 7 o'clock against Arcadia. Arcadia knocked off Partyville last week 20-6. Dennis, Arcadia plays in the good Cooley Conference, and the Cooley and the SWC have a crossover arrangement at times during the non-conference season. But 2 years ago, Arcadia, with not such a great record, came in, and I know they put a scare into Darlington and almost won there 2 years ago. They're a team that, on paper, doesn't look too impressive, but on the field, you better watch out.
Yeah, we don't play the games on paper, and Lancaster could have all their hands full.
So there you have it. A lot of football will be played Friday and Saturday at Level 2 of the WIAA playoffs, and we'll have live blogs, live updates, and more on WisconsinPrepZone.com. And, of course, our WisconsinPrepZone.com Game of the Week here from DeForest, Waunakee and DeForest, a couple of Badger North rivals hooking up in the second round of the playoffs. It should be a great ball game. Check it out here Friday night into Saturday morning on WisconsinPrepZone.com. For Dennis Semrau, I'm Rob Hernandez. Thanks for watching Prep Rally. We'll see you at the stadium.